Sorry about that. What's going on? Welcome to Wednesday Live. Welcome to Home Built Workshop. I hope you all are doing awesome this fine Wednesday or Thursday morning, depending on where you are in the world. What is everybody up to today? A little bit of a chilly morning here, a little cool start to the day, but that's okay. We got some hot coffee to offset that a little bit. We're going to hang out for a while, talk about, the usual stuff. Projects and what we're working on, what I'm working on, what you're working on especially. I'd love to hear what you guys have on your workbench or what sort of projects you're working on, and looking forward to hearing all about it. As we get settled in here, Paul's here. Paul says, good morning. Just finished therapy for the day. Right on. Right on. We are off to a good start here. Oh, forgot to turn that down. Sorry about that. Live. Alrighty. Harry Dude. Harry Dude says, what's up? Hello all. What's going on, man? How are things going down there on this Thursday morning for you? Right on, right on. So Harry Dude, I got an update for you. Actually, to clue everybody else in as to what's going on. I'm working on the acoustic. We'll get to that here shortly. But I also got a couple repairs on the guitar bench, which is not, I don't do a ton of repairs, but I have a friend of mine dropped off a 1992 Jackson Charvel guitar. I forget the model on it, but it's kind of the Strat style. I got to do it got a Floyd Rose, a few missing pieces, but I'm working on doing a complete setup on that. And also, when he dropped that off, he dropped off an effects pedal, and the effects pedal wasn't working, and he asked if there was any way if I could look at it and see if we could make it work again. And I couldn't figure it out, so I had to reach out to Harry Dude for some tips and things to look for, because I know you do a lot more of that kind of stuff than I do. So yeah, and ended up that the customer said, or my friend said, yeah, don't worry about it. So I guess we're not going to be fixing that. But the guitar is going to be kind of cool, except I found out there's a few pieces missing. It's got a weird, I've never seen this before. I'm sure it's pretty common after looking it up. It's a Rose, and typically a Floyd Rose has a locking nut. Well, this has not a locking nut, but it has the string clamp behind the actual nut. And there's a little plate in there, a little clamping plate, that it threads down in, and it pulls this up as the strings go through, and it clamps them in place. One of those little pieces is lost, so I'm going to have to order up a replacement. I found a couple places that sell that, and I also need to get a bunch of black pickguard screws. I have hundreds of chrome ones, but I don't have any black ones, so I don't know. Got to order a few pieces for it, but it's going to be kind of cool going through and setting this thing up. So, Harry Dude, thanks for offering those tips and suggestions on that thing, but turns out we don't have to mess with it. Paul says, the guitar's looking very nice. Thanks, man. I don't have the body here. Yeah, I'm really happy, mostly with the binding. I think I talked about it in one of the other lives, where the binding got really thin, and I'm not super happy with that. I can live with it, but I don't know. I have a feeling that I'm going to get challenged to rebind it, and I might just do that at some point. I don't know. We'll see. For now, I'm moving on, and I'm working on the neck, which I'll show you shortly, because we talked about that last week. Donna's here. Donna says, good fall morning. Good fall morning to you, Donna. Yes, it was a brisk 36 degrees here. This is our coldest morning so far, and yeah. The The seasons are a-changin', as they say. Dastardly Dave says, sup all. What's up, Dave? How are you doing, man? What are you working on this fine Wednesday? Harry Dude says those string clamps are common on the early Charvel Jackson Kramers. Yeah, I found that after looking at these things. I had never seen one before. I have a few guitars with a Floyd Rose, but they all have the locking nut. I've never worked on one with the little string clamp deal. So, yeah, it was kind of cool. I thought it was some weird, obscure thing, but after looking it up, nope, it's not. So I got to get one of those little clamps. I found a place that sells the replacement ones. They're like $6 a piece or something like that. So not super expensive. I mean, I could probably make one, but getting the size and everything just right probably take longer to do that than just a replacement. But yeah, this thing is kind of cool. It's it's kind of that Strat style, but it's got one humbucker. It's got one knob and a little switch, a mini toggle switch. I haven't even dug into it yet to see what that does. I'm guessing it's a coil split, but I don't know. It doesn't look like it was added like an after, somebody added it, but it could be. I don't know. Yeah, got to get one of those little clamp deals and some new screws for the top. I think I have some of those screws. But yeah, that string clamp deal is one that I definitely got to get. Watch and Learn's here. Thomas, what's up, man? Thomas says, good morning, Jeff. What's up, dude? How you doing? Giovanni says, ciao, Jeff. Good morning, Giovanni. Wait, good afternoon, Giovanni. It's not morning where you are. Alrighty. Yeah, so working on the acoustic again, like I said. Last week we were talking about the neck, and I'm about ready to start routing for the truss rod. The little hang up that I have is, well, somebody forgot to order the correct size truss rod. I don't know who that mysterious person is. I dug out my truss rods. I have base truss rods and regular truss rods, and I went to grab the ones for the acoustic, and lo and behold, it was not in there. And I thought for sure that I ordered them like months ago, but apparently I didn't. So they were supposed to be delivered yesterday, and I haven't seen them yet. So hopefully they'll be here today, and I'm ready to start routing for the truss rod. So you guys remember, and Thomas, does it look familiar? Thomas sent me this neck block, this roughed out neck blank. There we go. And we were talking about this last week, and Thomas, I ended up having to modify this just a little bit, where you had the maple strips in here. They were a little bit wide for the width of the neck that I was going to do, and what was going to happen, it was going to reveal, when I started in on the taper, it was going to reveal the maple at the top, but then it was going to fade into the Paduke, and I thought it might look a little bit strange. So it was a little bit scary. I ended up slicing this back apart on the maple, and then thinning down this maple, gluing it back together, so that way when I start carving the neck, my taper is actually going to start outside of the maple, and the maple will stay all in the center of the neck. Hope that makes sense. But I had to do some modifications to this, and then when I did that, of course, that narrowed up the headstock area, so I had to glue on some Paduke wings. But this thing is ready. The only thing I need to do is final trim the end to the final length, and then route the truss rod. And yeah, we are ready. Got to double check some dimensions. I've already sort of been checking things just to make sure I'm where I need to be, and I think part of me feels like I could be way off on this. I don't know, I feel like this step is going to go fairly quick compared to the body, because I mean, yes, the neck is different than what I'm used to making, but it's still a neck. I'm comfortable carving a neck. I'm comfortable slotting fret slots and routing truss rod channels and all that sort of stuff. So I feel like once this gets going, it's gonna go pretty good, I think. We'll see. So I'm going to route that truss rod channel. I'm also going to do carbon fiber rods in there. I've really been liking how those work out on my electric necks, so I'm going to do that on this as well. I've got my headstock template that I've been making. You'll notice mine has a little thing in there, so that's going to go on. That's for an inlay that I'm going to do. I got to reprint this with just a little bit wider, a little bit bigger inlay size. I have my head plate. I'm going to do spalted maple head plate on there, and then we'll have a little inlay thing in here. Of course, this has all the tuner holes and everything on there, so it's already going to be marked out. Yeah, I'm excited. Ready. I'm just waiting for those truss rods, because I need to use that to mark out the actual length. I mean, I have the dimensions of it, but until I have the actual truss rod in hand, I'm not going to really know for sure where I need to stop the truss rod slot. So waiting on that delivery, hopefully today. Harry Dude says it could be coil split or series parallel. Yeah, I'm not sure yet. I'll get in there and figure out what it's doing, but I thought it was kind of interesting. Let's see. Idiot Burns, what's up? It says, good morning, sir. Well, good morning to you. How's your day going? Hope you're having a wonderful day. Paul says, that would look good with the ambrosia maple. The Paduke? Yeah. It would, actually. I haven't thought about what I'm going to do with that yet. Trying to get this one done, or at least nearly done, before I tear into that one. Watch and Learn says, messing with the neck, man. Yes, sir. I am. Getting it ready to go. The only thing, the one thing that I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do yet is cutting the tenon when I get to that point. In the online course that I'm going through, Eric Schaefer's online course, he uses one of the commercial tenon jigs, the LMI Robbie O'Brien jig. And that's the one that he really recommends. So I haven't decided yet how I'm going to do that. I don't know if I'm going to maybe borrow a friend's again for this step, or maybe just buy one. I'm not quite sure yet. Not too worried about that yet, but it is something that I'm trying to figure out. Because I definitely 100% can say that without a doubt I'm going to be building more of these. So now it's at the point where I'm just figuring out what sort of things, jigs and stuff, that I need to make or buy. So yeah. But I did the binding jig build. I'm gonna build a side bender, probably kind of that Charles Fox style binder, binder. Just trying to figure all that stuff out, that all of the things that I'm needing. So I gotta look into that. Mike's here. Mike says 12 minutes late. Well, good morning to you all. Good morning, Mike. No worries. Ooh, there's an incoming plane or something. Mike, how are you doing this fine Wednesday? Donna says, have you made any more leather bags or projects? And hot honey tea this morning. Right on. Donna, no, I haven't. Oh, well, not in the video form. I've done a couple small things, making a few little things here and there for Haley. Just some different things that she's using for horse riding and stuff. I do have. I need to make her a new belt. Just a standard belt. This spring she won the belt buckle in her horse in the I don't even know how to say that, in the series that she was in for the competition. So she won this really cool buckle, and so I need to make her a new belt for the buckle to go on, because the one that she has right now, it doesn't work great on there. We've put it on, but I want to make her a new belt, that matches the color theme that she's really liking. So I do have that on the list coming up. But that's about all at the moment that I know doing. I do want to make a leather. I want to make some guitar straps. So that's on the list too. But I don't know exactly when that's going to come up. But the belt for sure. I'm going to be making a belt to go with her new fancy belt buckle. So that's all that I have for leather projects at the moment. There's probably half a dozen or more different things that I want to make. It's just a matter of when those are gonna get on the bench. Mike says Jeff is on a bender. LOL. Yeah, that was really kind of a tongue twister when I was doing that video for the binding, for bending the binding. Yeah, so leather stuff, back to Donna's question, is something that I want to do. I always want to do more of it because it's really fun. I really enjoy working with the leather. I just got to get, honestly, right now, for the most part, I'm trying to focus as much as I can on this acoustic, just trying to move it forward, get it wrapped up, or like I said, very close to wrapped up. And then we'll definitely be jumping back into a more variety of projects. Oh, the other thing that I have coming up too is, have you guys ever replaced brakes on electric? Really, it's not hard if you've never done it. So I'm going to be doing some brakes here. I was hoping for this weekend, but I'm waiting for parts to be delivered again, and I gotta put some trailer brakes on a trailer. So that's kind of cool. Oh, let's see. Grandpa Graybeard says, "How's life in the Springs? Any snow in the mountains yet?" Well, Grandpa Graybeard, things are good here. Things are good in the Springs. There's not visible snow at the moment that I can see. But about a week ago, we were heading to school in the morning to drop the kiddo off, and I could see snow on the mountain. Now our days are still getting fairly warm, in the 60s, low 70s. And so at least on the very front range, like the Pikes Peak, Pikes Peak and that whole front range there, I don't see any here. But I guarantee that there was, about a week ago, at least a little bit up there. It was enough that you could see it from where we are. So yeah, there has been snow up there. We haven't had any here yet, fingers crossed. But I've seen it up there already. But it's not constant yet. But it's getting close. Backwoods Boy Small Engines, what's up, man? Says, "Hello everyone, good morning." Bam, fist bump, right on. How are you doing this fine morning? I gotta scoot this over a little. I keep like moving out of frame as I'm adjusting on the seat. What are you working on this fine Wednesday? So yeah, back to the acoustic. Like I said, I'm waiting on parts, so I can't really do much until I have this truss rod channel cut. So I've just been getting everything ready, getting jigs made and little fixtures. So once I glue, I'm going to try to show you this here without dropping stuff on the floor. Once I get the truss rod slot cut, I'm going to glue on my head plate. Then my next order of business is to cut this. It's hard to hold. To cut this at 90 degrees. So I have a little jig here that slides up, and then I use this as a saw guide so that I can cut it nice and square. So I got that knocked together, nothing fancy, glued together a couple of blocks of plywood, and really just trying to get everything done ahead of time right now so that as soon as parts come in, then I can just go to town and start getting work done. Making jigs and fixtures and testing inlays and all that kind of stuff, as well as, like I said, trying to do some repairs. Backwoods Boy says, no snow here in the Appalachian Mountains, where I'm at yet. Right on. It's coming though, I'm sure. Mike says, sorry if you already discussed this. What did you decide regarding the nut width on the neck? I'm going to do 43 millimeters is going to be the width. I measured the acoustic, one of my factory made acoustics that I like the feel of, and it has a 43 millimeter nut. So I'm going to do 43 millimeters at the nut, and I forget what I'm doing at the heel. I have to go back to my notes, which are not in here right now. But 43 at the nut is what I'm going to do. 43 wide, I'm going to do 6 millimeters in width. So, you know, kind of a little bit wider nut. And that's the plan. Backwoods Boy, I'm just still enjoying my coffee. And I seen the notification to the live stream, wanted to stop in and say hello and watch. Well, right on, I appreciate that. Let me enjoy some coffee with you. Mike says, so will that keep the maple strips off the edge? Oh, I don't think you caught that one. I modified it. We talked about it last week. I went in and I bandsawed these apart on the maple, and then I thicknessed those down so that if I roughly hold this up there, you can see that the maple is going to be within it's going to be in the middle of my of the width, not the middle, but that way I'll have Padauk on both sides. You'll still see, you know, the maple as you carve it away, it'll get exposed, but now there's enough material on either side to where it's not going to start on the maple and kind of transition into the Padauk. So, yep, I just went down on the bandsaw and cut. Let me see here if I can do this. I went down on the bandsaw and I cut right along this line where it joins this outer piece of Padauk. Then I ran these through the drum sander to get it down to just the Padauk. And actually it was all done on the drum sander. And then, excuse me, brought the thickness down on these, glued it back together, which was a little bit tricky because, well, just due to the shape. But got it glued up, everything sanded smooth, and I think it's going to work just fine. So at least that's what I'm going to shoot for right now, because I really do want to use this piece. So I think we've saved it. Yeah, and I thought about going with a wider nut to try to avoid that, but really I felt like I didn't want to compromise the width that I felt like the 43 millimeter is the width that I really feel comfortable with. So I didn't want to compromise that just to try to make it work. So I just decided to dive in and see what happens. Ooh, I'm smashing into stuff here. And I think it's going to work fine. I'm not too worried. You probably noticed I did have these wings on here. Those were not on there when we last saw. Those were because I removed width. So I needed to add a little bit more so that my headstock fits on there. But good to go. And I have sorry if I'm repeating this, but I wanted to show my head plate here. This is what's going to go on the top. And I made a little template. You probably can't see. Well, maybe you can if I hold it in the right spot. Little acrylic template. I've kind of scratched my outline on there with a center line, and I use this so I could lay it over, you know, the piece of material that I was wanting to use to find where the grain line, you know, the grain lines that I like. And this one, I thought this was kind of cool. There's a grain line right here that runs right down, and it looks like a center line, and it lines up perfectly. If I use that, I don't know if this is really hard to show because you can't see my etched line, but it makes a perfect center line, and that's what I'm going to use when I glue everything together. Line it up with that, keeps the grain kind of going straight. So I think it's going to be cool. Mike says, excellent. Yeah, bam. Thanks, man. Augment Guitars, what's up? What's up? Augment says, how's it going? Was able to catch live stream. Right on. Right on. How are things going? What are you working on this fine Wednesday? Nice. Yeah, was just talking about the acoustic that I'm slowly chipping away at. And waiting for truss rods to be delivered. What are you building today? Awesome, awesome. Oh, another cool thing. As soon as we're done with the live stream, I have to run into town and stop in at Square Music in Colorado Springs and pick up the cigar box guitar. It is going to get shipped off to its new home, so that's pretty exciting. I run down, pick that up, and then get that. I'll run it across the setup bench, make sure everything's good, and that's going to get shipped off. So it's pretty awesome. I'm pretty excited about that. Paul says, working on 2 pallet casters. Also making myself a couple more heavy-duty lathe tools. Nice. Oh, Augment says, good. Currently working at my day job. Not fun. Oh, oh I'm sorry to hear that. No. Right on, man. I'm glad you're able to make it. It's awesome. Paul, are you still making the tools out of that giant Allen wrench, or did you have more Allen wrenches? Augment says, I've been doing some test sprays that I'm going to finish in shell pink. Nice. Good old shell pink. Cool. I'll be anxious to see how that turns out. Paul says, I made the hollowing tool and tested it this weekend. Had to shorten the cutting blade a bit. Nice. That's awesome. Isn't it so cool when you can sit down and, you know, spend a little bit of time and be able to make your own tools? And I'm not just talking about, you know, for turning necessarily, but really anything in general. Like you know, my Browder binding jig, or, you know, any of the number of tools that we all make, you know, to do our craft. I mean, to be able to take something and spend the hard work and time, effort, and all of that, and at the end you have a working 100% functional tool that you didn't have to go and buy. That is just something super cool to me that all of us, you know, do really all the time, I would say. And sometimes you don't even think about it. Really, it's just what you do. You just go and you make the thing and you keep on trucking. And you stop and think about it, like it's pretty cool, really. It's a pretty sad. There's a number of people that, when they need something, they just go and buy it. But a lot of us look at stuff like that a little bit different, and you just, oh, I can make that. I don't need to buy that thing. I can repurpose this, and I'll use this scrap of whatever, and it's just a cool feeling. Mike says Christmas gifts. Just finished 3 knives and scales using ebony. Nice. Oh, those would be cool gifts. That's something, I think I've mentioned this before, but from the day that I built my 2x72 belt grinder, I had intentions of building a knife. I have yet to make a knife using that belt grinder. I use that thing all the time for all kinds of different things, but I have yet to make a knife, and that is something that I need to get to. It's kind of sad. The poor grinder is there and it built because I wanted to build a knife. One of these days we'll do that. I've made scales for, repairing a kitchen knife or something like that, but I've yet to carve, or yet to grind an actual knife on there. I've done tests using wood, practicing, to get in the bevels and stuff, but I just haven't made that darn knife yet. That's what Oh, well, that's awesome, man. Mike, did you make the blades, or did you get like a blank blade with no scales? Be curious. I've seen some cool kits though, like that, where you just buy the blade, and then you just really add your scales and all that. Now you need to make some custom leather sheaths for them, huh? Good little leather projects. Oh, let's see, yeah. So that's where I'm at right now. Just trying to, like I said, get things in order for the acoustic. For schools here are on, I don't know about where you guys are. Schools here are on a 2-week fall break. So Haley's been hanging here with me. We've been, trying to hang out and do some things together. But yeah, so the rest of this week and next week, they're on break. So trying to do, projects a little bit after hours or a few minutes here during the day. But yeah. Kind of crazy that they're already on fall break. I don't think we did. Mike says, it was my first time doing this, bought knife blanks and did the scales myself. No grinding at the metal. No grinding at the metal there, then a little over sanding. Right on. Mike says, I'll post the photos on the website. Nice, yeah, right on. I look forward to seeing them. I have a couple of kitchen knives still. I've done 1 or 2. But I have one that in particular that's getting the wooden handle is getting really loose. So I've been thinking about maybe taking that one and making some new scales for it too. This one's kind of weird because it has, I forget what it's called. Is it a hidden tang maybe? It doesn't go all the way through, but it does notch into the handle. So it might be a little challenging to make. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to do that yet, but I really want to make a new handle for that. Augment says, I know you're out of Colorado and it can get pretty cold. How do you heat your workshop? I'm going to be running some gas lines to the garage and have been researching heating solutions. What do you use? Well, first, yes, we are in Colorado and it does get pretty cold. I've been experimenting with several different options, trying to figure out what works the best for me. Now, we all have different, we all live in different climates. We all have different workshop, insulation levels and stuff like that. So what necessarily works for one might work for somebody else just due to, environmental stuff. But I've tried a bunch of different things for lined lines or anything here. So it's very challenging to try to come up with a more permanent solution. I don't have like a HVAC system, furnace blower, all that sort of stuff. The last few years I've been using propane bottles with a heater on top, and that works well. But a downside of propane is that you get the condensation, you get the moisture. And there have been several times where I'll be running the heat, and for the most part, I don't notice too much for condensation. Our climate here is very dry, so I don't get a whole lot of moisture for the most part. But a few times, and I don't know if this was related sort of to maybe the changing weather system or the incoming of a storm, something like that, some sort of change. I have come into the shop before and I've had my jointer rust over like overnight, instantly. And I believe that's due to the moisture from the propane and then whatever changing weather system. So propane does work well, but you got to deal with that moisture situation. That part I don't like. I have tried, I've been using I'm sure you guys have seen those diesel heaters. A lot of people put them in their like overland camper vans and stuff like that. I do have one of those in here. That works really well. Excuse me. That works really good, except for it has a blower, which is sort of loud. And that's another thing with the propane. You always have that hiss, which, it's not horrible. Neither is this diesel heater. But a lot of times I'm trying to film things, so I don't want all that background noise, especially if I'm trying to talk and explain something. But the diesel heater works pretty good. My shop is very, very small, so it's able to heat it up. It's not super fast, but it does maintain, and that works pretty good. I've also tried like a kerosene heater, those kerosene heater deals. That probably works, I would say, the best because it's silent. It puts out a good, I feel like it's a pretty dry heat. The downside of that is, you always got to have kerosene on hand, which sometimes is a pain in the neck because I can't just go, we don't have a whole lot of stations around here where you can just go and buy regular old kerosene. I'm fortunate enough to have, there's a local campsite not too far from here that does sell kerosene, but that's about the only place that I've found it. Sometimes that can smell a little bad. That's not great either. But one thing that I'm going to try this year is, and I need to go grab one, honestly, is those infrared, those little infrared heaters that you just plug in, and a lot of them have a remote control and timers and all kinds of stuff. That's what I want to try this year. I've been meaning to get to the store for like 3 or 4 weeks to go grab one, but I just haven't done it yet. So I've tried about everything. I haven't found the perfect solution yet. Like I said, the propane is probably the quickest to heat up the space. I just don't like that moisture bit. I don't know. It's kind of a really long-winded answer, and I hope maybe at least gives you some ideas. But I kind of think that the electric infrared might be a good option, and hopefully soon I'll be able to report back on that. Let's see. Oops, I accidentally scrolled here. Sorry about that. There we go. Watch and Learn says, painting my 2003 Toyota Tundra. That's my project for the month. Right on. It's going to come out good. I know it. Mike says, Dremel router to create slot in the scale, then epoxy the 3 pieces together. My best guess? Use the tang as about what I... Augment says, good to know. I was given a propane heater that I was going to try out this winter. If I don't get to running the lines, I was also thinking about trying a gas infrared heater. Ooh, that's something that I haven't tried either. That's right. I forgot about those. I think the propane works well for me. I just have one of those tank top deals, that you screw on to the propane tank. And some of those are not meant for indoor use. They're meant for outside, which, if you're using it inside, you gotta, just make sure you have ventilation and all that stuff. And a carbon monoxide filter is not detector. That's it. Is not a bad idea either. It does work, and I've used it for several years. The propane. I have like 4 tanks. So I just start out and I get a couple filled, and just start rotating through it. As I get a couple empty, I go fill them, and always keep extra ones on hand. The good part about those sorts of things, I think, are, you could move it somewhere. If you needed it somewhere else, if you, I was going to say if you could put it into the house in an emergency situation, but I suppose you could. That's probably not recommended. But it's portable, right? You can move it around. I've taken mine outside, in the wintertime, if I've got to, I don't know, change the oil or do something on one of the vehicles, you can have that thing kind of running there and keep your hands warm. That aspect of it is kind of cool. And, I'm not trying to steer you away from it. I'm not saying it won't work, because it will work, because I've used it for years. That's the one thing that I don't like, is the moisture. And now I'm not saying if you turn it on, everything's going to immediately sweat and it's going to be dripping with moisture. That's, in my experience, that's not at all the case. But it does put out a little bit of moisture, and it's just something that you kind of got to keep in mind a little bit. But yeah, the gas infrared, I wonder how that would work. Because I was going to try the electric infrared. The gas infrared might be kind of cool. Ogman says, thanks for the info, though. No problem, man. Harry Dude says, I run an LPG, similar to propane. Haven't noticed problems with tools rusting. I wonder... LPG. Isn't that the same thing? Liquid propane gas? Or is that something different? Yeah, he says, I haven't noticed problems with tools rusting. Like in the most of the time, I haven't either. But I know there's been at least 2 times that, for some reason, I've had bad rust on my joiner, and I don't know why that is. But yeah, the most part, it doesn't rust. It's not like everything, like I said, is instantly covered in condensation. I just know that condensation is a byproduct of gas, right? Like the gas heat, propane, something like that. It puts out great heat. I can warm the place up super fast, and really, it's probably the best thing that I've used so far. You just got to be mindful. Maybe have a hygrometer, humidity gauge, to be able to keep an eye on things, just in case. I don't know. I'm not trying to steer anyone away from anything. I'm just trying to offer my 2 cents. Burnaby says carbon monoxide is a serious problem. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Burnaby. Yeah, it is. You gotta keep in mind some of this stuff. Some of these heating devices they say right on there, not intended for indoor use, and I believe the heater that I use says that as well. And so it's always something to keep in mind. Keep a carbon monoxide detector on hand, so you can always just know in case there's an issue. Because I don't want anybody to collapse. KK! KK says, good afternoon. Grease time. And may you all and your families be well. Condolences to the families of the disasters in Florida. Courage and inspirations, my friend Jeff. Right on, my friend. Yeah, that was quite a time down there. Man, hopefully everyone down there is doing well and getting things, back in order. And wow, yeah, that was quite a deal. Burnaby says it is propane. That's what I thought. LPG. Harry, dude, is what you're running different somehow than propane? I think it's the same. LPG. Because that's what mine is. Liquid propane gas. That's what we use. Our home is heated by propane. We got one of those big, 500-gallon propane tanks, and like propane's. I really like propane for, like cooking on like a gas stove and gas-fired furnace and all that kind of stuff. We always had, growing up anyway, I don't have it now, even our clothes dryer was gas. It had a gas line running to it and a burner in there, which seems kind of scary, really, but man, they work really well. You got a burner in there behind your clothes, drying them. I've really been liking, I mentioned that diesel heater. I've really been liking that. It puts out a super dry heat, and it really seems to work good. If you guys aren't familiar with those, these are the kind of things that they're made for. Well, I don't know what they were originally designed for, but they were made for, as far as I understand it, for use in like tractor trailers. They're used to heat the cab and things. So like when you stop overnight, you run the diesel heater so that you don't have to run the main engine. So it uses a lot less fuel, to keep you warm while you're on break, stopped at a rest area or whatever. You run this thing instead of the actual truck engine, and to keep everything nice and warm. It puts out a really nice heat. It's really dry. The only downside, well, two downsides necessarily, is they're not really intended for a larger space, but I forgot what I was going to say. But it puts out, the heat's nice and dry. Man, why can't I get my train of thought again? Oh, they're not intended for a large space, so it takes a while to heat up, my 100 and whatever square feet here. And also it's kind of loud. But man, other than that, it seems to work really good. Burnaby says, I try to wipe down all the stuff that could rust with WD-40 or similar as I put tools away. Chisels tend to rust just with the residue from your hands. True. And I've done that too. When I was talking about the joiner rusting, I try to keep it wiped down with paste wax. Especially in the wintertime, because now I know that that's a possibility, and I haven't yet been able to determine the exact cause. So I just try to wipe it down. As soon as the weather starts to get bad, especially if we have a snowstorm coming, I'll wipe everything down with a coat of paste wax, the bandsaw table, the joiner table. I'll even go through and wipe down hand planes if I need to. I don't necessarily like wax on my hand planes, but because I don't want it to get on the wood. Sometimes I'll do it. I do have one. I think it's this one. This one was nice and clean and shiny. This happened last winter. It actually rusted all the way down, but I've been using it, so yeah. A little bit. Yeah, it's just weird, and I can't necessarily explain, for me, what's been causing it. The only thing I can figure is, I'm running that propane heat, putting a little bit of moisture in the air, and then some sort of weather change, pressure change, something, temperature change causes it to condense more than it normally does. I don't really know. Paul says, I'm about to start finding out how well my new mini split works this winter. Hope it keeps the shop warm. It will supposedly do 800 square foot, but my shop is 160. So hopefully, Paul, you're going to be like, it's going to be like in the beach there. You're going to be wearing sandals and shorts and flip flops and drinking some sort of tropical drink from a coconut or something. And it's going to be like 20 below and 3 feet of snow. I think you're going to be good. KK says, greetings from my little son too. Love and peace, brothers. We hope that the war in our neighborhood will stop and there will be no more crazy people. Yeah, buddy. KK, greetings to your son too. What's up, buddy? Yeah. I wish you the best, my friend. I hope you're all doing well over there. Augment says, paste wax works well too on cast iron tops. Yep. Yeah, it works really well. My paste wax that I've been using lately is the good old yellow can. Which, I don't know about you guys. I was trying to find paste wax locally, and I've been looking for months, and every time I went to several stores, nobody has paste wax. I don't know why. Places that I've bought it from in the past didn't have it. Everything, the shelves were empty. I don't know what's going on. But I ended up having to order this, I don't know, probably off Amazon or something. But yeah, good old Johnson paste wax. Oh, let's see. Michael. Michael, I'm going to try to pronounce that. I'm sorry. I don't want to destroy that too well with my yeah. I hope you're doing good. Augment says I had to get mine online too. Same stuff I use. Yeah, see, isn't that weird? I don't know what's going on. You know, for let's see, probably about at the height of the whole COVID pandemic thing, right? I couldn't find lacquer locally. I couldn't find paste wax. Finally, I found lacquer, but I never could find the paste wax. I don't know, but it's like it never came back. So that's why I had to order it. KK says, thanks, my friend Jeff. Right on, brother. Mike says, Home Big Box carries Howard Citrus Shield paste wax. I guess I could try my namesake, but yeah, see? Any relation there? Maybe it's like some great long-lost uncle. Huh? I don't even remember. They might have had that citrus shield. I don't know. I don't remember now. I got this several months ago, or maybe even 6 months ago. So I haven't really been looking. Mike says, sure. Yeah, come on. You got to throw that out there. Oh, my great grandfather's nephew's brother's cousin's uncle. Paul says, I have a couple of beehives. Have used some of that on cast iron tools. Also, yes, beeswax. I have done that as well. I have, let's see, what do I have? I have some mineral oil beeswax stuff that I use for cutting boards. I've thought about putting that on there, but now that I got the paste wax, I haven't had to worry too much about it. Yeah, Mike says, my long lost uncle left me off the will. Ah, oh, darn it. I'm sorry. Our Harry Dude says, frappette, slide and protect silicone-free paste wax from Amazon. There is also something, I can't remember the name, that is made for protecting cast iron. I want to say it's like bow shield or something like that. Maybe that, I don't even know if that's the correct term. I've never tried it. It's like a spray, something or other. I have zero experience with that, but I know it's out there, and I think it's made for cast iron. But I might have to check out that slide and protect. The thing I don't like about waxes on there, and this is probably not really a concern because I've not had it as an issue, but I'm always careful. Like, I don't want to leave tons of it on there. I'm always worried that, if I put it on the joiner and then I go, later on and I joint a board and I get it nice and square and I go to glue it up, how much of that wax transfers to that freshly jointed edge? And is it possible that it could ever impede a glue up? I don't know. I've never had an issue, but it's always in the back of my mind. I just don't want to. I don't want to get that wax in there so that when you glue it up, the wax sort of prevents it. Has anybody ever had an issue with that? Is that even a thing? I legitimately don't know. It's just something that I always envision, so I'm careful to not leave gobs and gobs of wax on there. Burnaby says, I'm pretty sure people don't use it. Remember, most of the furniture sold today is compressed wood. Hold on, did I miss something? Remember, most of the furniture sold today is compressed wood with a plastic veneer. I don't think it sells, in my opinion. Oh, I got you. Paste wax. It took me a second. Sorry, I had to connect the dots. I thought maybe I missed a comment from earlier, but no, we're good. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it's hard to find a good solid wood piece that you actually need to put paste wax on there. Also, I think to add to that, that's a good comment. That's a good point. The finishes have changed so much now. I remember, back in the day, your grandma's tables and their furniture, right? I think a lot of that was like a shellac or a very simple finish to where it needed some extra protection from the wax, right? So that's why you don't set the glass on the table because it's going to leave a ring. I believe that was because it was more of probably an oil finish, maybe a linseed oil, maybe a shellac or something like that, where you don't quite have the protection of the finishes that we have today. So therefore, the wax was required to really protect it, right? Now we have so many more advancements with different products for finishing and stuff like that. Like polyurethanes and building, finishes that build layers, protective layers, and basically cover the wood, seal the wood up. So paste wax isn't necessary. So yeah, I could totally get that. And what a great point, and one that I hadn't really thought of until now. But yeah, I think you're right. It's definitely not used as much, and especially with the MDF laminate stuff like you're talking about. It's got a laminate on the top, so there's nothing that's going to affect it anyway. So yeah, good point. Brian's here. Brian says, hi Jeff and everyone. Hope you're all well. Just getting in from work. Right on. Paul says it is bow shield. Don't put it on too thick. Mike says, need to jump. You all take care and stay safe. Winter's coming. Yes, it is, man. Everybody stay warm. Get ready now. Paul says, I just cut apart a mahogany bed my wife bought from Haverty's a couple years ago. 90% MDF and wood. That was wood. His basswood, not mahogany. Oh, boy. And it's a mahogany bed. So I think part of the way they get away with that, right? Mahogany is a color, right? There's mahogany colored crayons. So you could say that it's mahogany, but that doesn't. You're not saying necessarily it's mahogany wood. You're saying it's mahogany colored. I think that's what they do. Mike says stay. Yeah, I know what you meant. Staff safe. It's all good, man. Have a good day. Watch and Learn says, I don't think enough wax would get on the joint to affect it. Based on experience, I 100% agree because, like I said, I've never had an issue, but it's just a worry. It's just one little thing that I worry about. One of the 86,000 things that I worry about is, did I put too much wax on there, and is it going to mess up my glue joint the next time I use it? Anybody else overthink stuff like that? Donna says, have a great weekend. Donna, you too. It's Wednesday. Oh, I was going to say, yeah, we still got a couple days left, but yeah, have a great weekend, Donna. I hope you're able to go out and enjoy some fall festivals or something like that. I know we have some around here that our local farmers market has a big thing this coming weekend, so we're kind of looking forward to that. It's always kind of fun just to get out there and, just enjoy something out in the community. Paul says, overthinking makes us better craftsmen. It also gives us headaches. Yeah, no, I definitely overthink everything. I tend to, I don't know, I don't want to say overcomplicate, but I think that is a side effect of it. Like trying to figure out this guitar neck deal and my templates and how I'm going to run all that stuff. And yeah, overthink. Overanalyze. Just do it. Sometimes that's what I was doing just before I cut this apart. Overanalyzing. Trying to figure out the process. Trying to figure out everything before I even started. And finally I just said, you know what? Heck with this. I'm just going to start cutting and then we're going to go from there. And then before I changed my mind, I immediately went over to the bandsaw and made the first cut. And I'm like, okay, there, it started. So now you got to keep going. Figure it out later, buddy. Stop overthinking and just get something done. I got to tell myself that sometimes. Oh, boy. Anyway, guys, I think it's about time to wrap this up. And, yeah, I got to run to town and go pick up a guitar that needs to get shipped to its new owner. So, and then we'll come back and, well, I'm not sure what we're going to tear into first. Probably get some parts ordered for that Charvel that I got to work on. Because if I don't order them, they don't get here. And then I can't get it done. So, anyway, right on, guys. Well, thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy it. If you did, hit that thumbs up button. Hit that thing. Let me see that number, right? I don't know where it is on your screen, but it's right there. I want to see that number go up. So, anyway, have an amazing rest of your week, and I hope you have an awesome weekend. If you're going into fall, which, Harry Dude, I know you're not going into fall, but those of you that are going into fall, take some time, get outside, enjoy the fall weather. I love that feel of the crispness, just that fall air. I really enjoy that. I don't like what's coming after that, but I do enjoy the fall season. That kind of coolness in the air, the change in the air. Get out and enjoy that. Get some fresh air. But I hope you also are able to get out there and make some things in your shop, making some Christmas gifts or make some Halloween decorations or just whatever it is that you're working on. Hope you get out there and enjoy it. Be safe. Have fun. Make some cool stuff. And thanks for tuning in. And we will see you all next week. Brian says, take care, y'all. See you next time. Take care and stay safe. Paul says, have a great week. Harry Dude says, stay well, everyone. Catch you later. Right on, guys. Thanks again. We'll catch you next time.